in Hindi. I am not very comfortable in Hindi, so I request you all to kindly accept when I talk in English. First of all, my Saštanga Pranamams to Sri Acharya Swami at Chilbila, who is instrumental in conducting all these wonderful sessions to the children. And I also thank the organizers and Sri Acharya Swamiji for having given me a chance to participate in this session. It is not that I am teaching something and you're learning something today. All of us are sitting and learning together from our Acharyas. Okay. So having said that, the topic given to me today is Shishya Lakshanam. Before I come to Shishya Lakshanam, I would really like to appreciate from the bottom of my heart the efforts taken by all of the organizers and Sri Acharya Swamiji for inculcating the values, the traditional values of Sri Vaishnavism in all of the upcoming generations. This is really a great job, a commendable job. My Saštanga Pranamams for that effort. Now, when I say Shishya Lakshanam, before I proceed, is this session, I have a question to the organizers. Is this session interactive? Like, can they chat on the window or they answer something that is allowed?
Yes, Narayan Swamiji. This session is interactive. It is up to Devari to talk to the students. Students can reply. They can raise hands or they can comment on chat box. No problem.
Okay, thank you. That will help. So with Sri Swamiji's permission, I would like to start the session. Sri Shailesha Dagapatram Bhaktyadi Gunaranavam Yatindra Pravanam Vande Ramya Jamataram Munim. Now, first of all, I would like to ask you all, what do you understand by the term Shishya? Okay, you can quickly raise your hand, type, do something. Student. Student. Okay, okay. Disciple. Okay, I got the answer. Thank you. Now, what is the difference between a student and a disciple? Anyone? Anyone to answer what is the difference between a student and a disciple? Shishya means a student or a disciple. Okay. Student, I will give you the answer. Student is a very general term. We go to school, we are students. We go to college, we are students. Right? But disciple is not just stopping at that. Disciple is also a student, but not stopping at just learning. Disciple does something more. He is disciplined and he is dedicated. He does something more than being a student. Student is just one who gets knowledge and stops at that. That is what we do at schools. Yes? No? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Thumbs up. That is what we do at schools, right? We just get knowledge and stop at that. But disciple is not the one who stops at getting knowledge. He does something more. That is Shishya. That is what a Shishya is. Okay, we will learn today what really a Shishya means. Who is a Shishya? So for that, I will share my screen. You all can see my screen now.
Yes, Swamiji.
I'll continue. All right. So we will see what the characteristics of a Shishya is. So first we should see who is a Shishya. Okay. All of us saw on the chat window, many of you answered. One who learns from a preceptor. Preceptor is the Acharya or Guru. One who learns from a Guru is Shishya. One who gains knowledge from the Guru is a Shishya. But is that all the definition of a Shishya means? No, it is something more. One who serves the preceptor, one who serves the Acharya. He does not stop at gaining something from the Acharya. He has to serve. He has to give back. Okay? Gaining knowledge is not just the end result. Serving the Acharya for lifetime. How long should we serve, Swami? Should we serve for several days, several months, several years and stop at that? No, it is for a lifetime that we serve an Acharya. Okay. So that is the second aspect of being a Shishya. And the third one who lives and leaves for the sake of the preceptor. Even if he's alive, it is only for the sake of Acharya. If he's dying, that is also for the sake of Acharya. How nice a definition, right? He is living for the sake of an Acharya to serve him. When he is leaving the body, when he is leaving for Sri Vaikuntham, even then he is living for the sake of Acharya. This is, in summary, the characteristic of a Shishya. Now we will see how these principles are explained by our Acharyas in various books. Now, in the first place, whom are we targeting as a Shishya here? Here, the Shishya is learning not just material subjects, but he is learning about Bhagavan, the Artha Panchakam. In the same Shibira, there was a session on Artha Panchakam. All of you attended, right? On the second day, there was a Shibiram on Artha Panchakam. In Artha Panchakam, what did we learn? About Bhagavan, about ourselves, about the means to attain Bhagavan, about the obstacles that are stopping us from attaining Bhagavan, and about the fruit, about the end result of attaining Bhagavan, that is performing Kainkaryam to Bhagavan. All this we learned. These 5 concepts, Artha Panchakam, Prapyasya Brahmano Rupam, Praptuscha Pratyagatmanaha, Praptyupayam, Phalam Praptehe, Tatha Prapti Virodhicha. These are the 5 principles that a Shishya has to learn. Beyond these 5 principles, it is up to the Shishya to learn whatever he wants. For a living, we learn some material subjects. Yes, it is okay, agree. But is that all that we learn in our life? No, we have to learn something more. We have to learn the Artha Panchakam, these 5 concepts. Without these 5 concepts, learning even 5 lakh other concepts will be of no use. Beyond these 5 concepts, even the 6th concept is not required to reach moksha. Right? So it is such a beautiful thing. So these 5 concepts, if we are learning from an Acharya, only then the Shishyatva Purti is there. The completeness of being a Shishya is there. Okay. So when we are learning this Artha Panchaka, we have to follow all of these. We are not only learning from the Acharya, but also serving him. And our life is dedicated to the Acharya. Yesterday, there was a talk on Acharya Nishtha, as I learned. And the Acharya Nishtha, you would have all learned how Acharya is everything for a Shishya, right? Did we learn it? Yes? No? Not many thumbs up. Fine. I hope we learned that Acharya is everything for a Shishya. He means everything. You have any, you have a material worldly doubt, you go and ask the Acharya. You have a spiritual doubt, you go and ask the Acharya. So Acharya is literally everything for a Shishya. That is how a Shishya should be. That is a Acharya Nishtha Visa, right? So one who lives and leaves for the sake of an Acharya. Now, for us to be the Shishyas, who is the role model? Okay, we should see who is the role model. Someone should teach us how to be a Shishya. So any guesses who taught us how to be a Shishya? Anyone can guess? Anyone taking a guess? Quickly? No one? I am not able to see the chat window, so I don't know if someone is writing something. Okay, anyway, I will continue. The first Shishya in our Sampradayam was verily Bhagavan. Very surprising, right? All of us usually chant this Taniyan, Lakshminatha Samarambha, Nathayamuna Madhyama, Asmadacharya Paryanta, Vande Guru Parampara. We bow to this Guru Parampara, the lineage of Acharyas, starting right from Lakshminatha, that is Shriyapati Bhagavan. He is the first Acharya. That is what we know. But
Adiyan, so I'm extremely sorry to disturb you. Could you please disable the annotations? Kids are disturbing.
Yes, I have done that just now.
Adiyan. Sorry, Swamiji.
Adiyan. I have to see how I can. Is there a way that I can clear this annotation?
No problem, Swamiji. You can continue now like this.
Okay. All right. Our first teachers are parents. Oh, now I see the chat window. Okay. Guru Swamiji, parents and teachers. All right. So we know that Bhagavan is the first Acharya in our Acharya lineage, right? Lakshminatha Samarambham. That is what we learn. But it is equally surprising to know that Bhagavan himself is the first Shishya as well, first disciple as well. You know where our Acharyas have shown this? There is a work called Mumukshupadi. There are 18 Rahasya Granthas, 18 works written by Sri Lokacharya Maharaj Ji, who has written all that a Sri Vaishnava has to know, a Prapanna has to know. Of those 18 books, the most important is Mumukshupadi. Okay, there is a book called Mumukshupadi. The Mumukshupadi has all the concepts of how the Rahasya Traya, when we get the Samashayam done, when we go to Acharya and get the Pancha Samskaram done, he gives us 3 Rahasyas, 3 mantras. Correct? The 3 mantras are called 3 Rahasyas or 3 secrets. These are to be got, or these are to be attained from the Acharya. No one else can tell these. Only an Acharya has the right to tell all these Rahasyas. So when we get these Rahasyas, what is the meaning of those Rahasyas? The Tirumantra, Ashtakshari mantra, the Dvaya mantra, and Charama Shloka. What is the meaning of these Rahasyas? As what is dealt in Mumukshupadi book. In Mumukshupadi, he says, in order to teach the world, Lokacharya ji says, in order to teach the world how a Shishya has to be, he himself came as the first Shishya. Because we don't know how a Shishya has to be. Without anyone showing us how we have to conduct ourselves, we do not know how to conduct ourselves. Correct? Someone has to be there to monitor us, to tell us, to guide us on the right path. That is why Bhagavan himself came as the first Shishya. That is what it says. As Nara and Narayana, the first duo of Acharya and Shishya were Nara and Narayana. Bhagavan came as a twin avatara. Twin avatara as Nara and Narayana in Badrikashram. As Narayana, he was the Acharya. As Nara, he was the Shishya. On the picture, you will be able to see Narayana as well as Nara. Narayana is instructing Tirumantram or Ashtakshari mantra to Nara. He was the first Shishya. Why? It is because we don't know how to conduct ourselves. That is why Bhagavan came down in order to teach us how a Shishya has to be. Now, Varavara Muni ji saw this. He has written a beautiful commentary on Mumukshupadi. Varavara Muni Swami has written a beautiful commentary. In that commentary, he saw Pilla Lokacharya ji has told this is about Bhagavan has come as a Shishya to show the world how a Shishya has to conduct himself. But Lokacharya has not told what are those principles that we have to follow. So let us give this. Varavara Muni ji, with all of his compassion, he gave us some shlokas from different Dharma Shastras as to how a Shishya has to be. And told, see, this is how Bhagavan conducted himself. As per these Shastras, Bhagavan conducted himself and showed us. So we have to lead, we have to walk in that path. Okay. So the subject for today, for Shishya Lakshanam, I will be touching upon 3 shlokas that Varavara Muni Swami has taken for a Shishya Lakshana, how a Shishya has to conduct himself. And in the process, I will also give you some examples of how our own Acharyas have walked that path, have tread the path, so that we know how we can lead our lives. Okay. So the first Shishya Lakshana. The shloka says, आस्तिकः धर्मशीलश्च शीलवान् वैष्णवः शुचिः गम्भीरश्चतुरो धीमान् शिष्य इत्यभिधीयते. Astikah. I will just give you the definitions of what those principles are. I will give you the definitions of what those principles are. Okay. The first principle is the Shishya has to be an Astika. What do you understand by the word Astika? Asti Vedaika Gamyam Vastu iti Nishchayaha. Pancharatra Agama Ahirbudnya Samhita gives this definition. Asti Vedaika Gamyam Astikaha Astiko Asti Vedaika Gamyam Vastu iti Nishchayaha. That is what it says. Astikyam Asti Vedaika Gamyam Vastu iti Nishchayaha. Veda, no, it explains something to us. It tells us something. Vedas tell us something. A Shishya first has to have the trust in Vedas that whatever Vedas are telling you are true or true. It is not false. It is not something to mislead us. Whatever Veda is telling is true. That trust has to be there in the Vedas. That is the first point. Okay. What does Veda tell us? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells beautifully. He says, Mataspritagnanam apohanam cha Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyaha vedantagrid vedavideva chaham. Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha. From all the Vedas, I am only known. You all know Vedantacharya? You all know Vedantacharya, right? And Vedantacharya interprets this verse very beautifully. He says, Yeva means it is a stress. Ahameva vedya means only me. That eva means only. That is a stressing word, right? It is called avadharanam. That avadharana is applied in 3 places. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyaha. Vedaireva aham vedyaha, he says. Bhagavan can be known only through the Vedas. Vedaireva vedyaha. Vedaihi ahameva vedyaha. Vedas teach only about Bhagavan, about nothing else. And Vedaischa sarvaihi aham vedyayeva. We can only know about Bhagavan. We cannot realize him just by reading Vedas. Okay. Here, the main point to know is Bhagavan is expounded by the Vedas. So the first, the Shishya has to have a trust that reading the Vedas, I will know about Bhagavan. He has to have trust in the words of Vedas. Now we take our textbooks, we read the textbooks. On what basis do we read that? We have a trust that what it is telling is true. We read newspapers. On what trust do we read newspapers? We read saying whatever it tells is true. We have that belief, right? With that belief, the same trust, in fact, a stronger trust has to be placed in the Vedas. That is the first point. Second, just learning Vedas will not suffice. Just having trust will not suffice. Dharma Shilaha, he has to walk on the path of Dharma, act as per Dharma Shastras. What are these Dharma Shastras? Dharma Shastras are the Smritis, Itihasas, Puranas, all written by great rishis. These actually give us, they are the manuals which give us a list of do's and don'ts. It says, do this, this is right. Don't do this, this is wrong. Refrain from it. So these Dharma Shastra, Shasanati Shastram, it gives us an instruction to walk on a particular way. Do this and don't do this. All the do's and don'ts. Even in the Shibiram, when you were given the meeting invite and all, you would have got a list of do's and don'ts, right? A student has to conduct this way, this way, this way. The student should not do this, do this, do this, do this, etc. All the do's and don'ts, right? Similarly, Vedas give us a list of do's and don'ts to reach Paramapadam. Our very birth, our Janma itself is to reach Paramapadam. It is not for anything else. The purpose of our birth is itself is to reach Paramapadam and do Nitya Kainkaryam to Bhagavan. If we have to do this, we have to get rid of our karma. If we have to get rid of our karma, we have to follow the Dharma Shastra. This is the way out. That is why Bhagavan gave us all these Dharma Shastras. So Dharma Shilaha, the Shishya has to follow the principles of Dharma. Shilavan, he has to have a good character. The Veda say, Satyam Vada, Veda Manuchacharyonte Vasinamanusasti, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, Swadhyayanma Pramadaha, Acharyaya Priyandhanamahritya Prajatantum Mavyavachetsi, Satyan na Pramaditavyam, Dharman na Pramaditavyam, Kushalan na Pramaditavyam, Bhutyay na Pramaditavyam, goes on and on and on. It is a huge instruction. Veda Manuchya Acharyaha Antevasinam Anushasti. Having taught all the Vedas, at the end, when the Shishya is leaving the Gurukulam, when he is leaving back to his home, the Acharya calls him and Anushasti, he gives him a last instruction manual saying, from now on, you will not be under me. You will lead your own life, right? In order to lead your own life, you have to follow all of these principles, dharmic principles, dharma. Vedama Antevasinam Anushasti. Antevasi is a Shishya. For Shishya, the Acharya instructs all of this. What does he say? Satyam Vada, always speak the truth. Dharmam Chara, always follow Dharma. Swadhyayanma Pramadaha, do not give up your Swadhyaya or studies. Do not give up on your daily rituals. Do not give up on your Anushtanas. All of these, it is a huge list of Dharma instructions. Right? The Acharya gives all this. So all of these are told in the Vedas. A Shishya has to have a good character following all of these. Right? He has to follow Dharma, that is one thing. Second, he has to have a good character. Even in life, he has to follow the right principles as ordained in the Shastras. Vaishnavaha, he has to worship, he has to have devotion towards Vishnu. When he has devotion towards Vishnu, then that means he is trusting the Vedas, because Vedas clearly show Bhagavan is the supreme. Vishnu is the supreme. There is nothing, no one or nothing equal to him or greater than him. Right? Nissamabhyadigam abhyadattayam deva maupanishadi saraswati. Pureshaji says this. It is Varadaraja Stava. So Bhagavan does not have anyone or anything equal to him, or anyone or anything greater than him. He is the supreme. So if he is the supreme and Vedas talk about Bhagavan, then a Shishya has to automatically or implicitly have that devotion towards Vishnu. He has to have that devotion, right? Vaishnavaha. Even in just now, you were all telling the Santai of Alavandar Stotra Ratnam. The Stotra Ratnam Alavandar, that is Yamunacharya ji, beautifully says, Narayana Tvayina Mrishyati Vaidika Kaha. If anyone is considered as a Vaidika, if anyone considered as a follower of Veda or Sanatana Dharma, then he has to invariably accept the supremacy of Narayana. So devotion towards Vishnu becomes one of the qualities of a Shishya. Shuchihi, he has to be pure in mind. Mind has to be pure. Now, I am an Astika, I am a Dharmashila, I am a Shilavan, I am a Vaishnavaha. I follow all of these. But the moment I start following all of these, can I have ego saying there is none equal to me? The Shastra says, don't have that ego. There are crores of people greater than you. It may be not around you, but there are crores of people greater than you. So don't have that ego. Shuchihi. Be pure in mind. Gambhiraha. Gambhiraha means one should have the depth in Acharya Bhakti. The Acharya Bhakti should be so deep. Gahanam, Gambhiram, Gambhiram, there's the superlative degrees, right? Good, better, best. We learn that in English. I don't know how in Hindi they teach that, but in English we learn that, right? Good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, and so on. That way, it means deep, deeper, deepest. Gambhiram is the deepest. It is the highest order of depth. When we see a sea or ocean, the ocean is called Gambhira, right? Gambhira Samudra. Why? Because no one knows how deep it is. In the middle of the ocean, no one knows how deep it is. It goes on and on and on for kilometers. It goes, right? It goes so deep. That is why it is called Gambhira. The same way we have to be Gambhira. The Shishya has to be a Gambhira. How Gambhira? He has to have the depth in Acharya Bhakti. His devotion towards his Acharya should be extremely deep. Just by looking outside the facade, one cannot know how deep his Acharya Bhakti is. That is what Gambhira means. Gambhiraha, Chaturaha, capacity to serve Acharya in the right way. The ability to serve the Acharya in the right ways possible. Now here I have a small story. To break the boredom, I will give you a small story. There was an Acharya by name Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar. Don't worry about the name, but just know that Ramanujacharya ji had 5 acharyas, right? Panchacharya Samashrayah. He had 5 acharyas. One of those acharya was Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar. He is the Arayar Swami. He was the Arayar Swami in Srirangam. Arayar Swami in Srirangam. He was the disciple of Alavandar, Yamunacharya, and the direct acharya of Ramanujacharya himself. One fine day, this Thiruvaranga Perumal Arayar, for convenience sake, I'll just call him Arayar Swami. Arayar Swami was sitting, he was taking an oil bath. Usually these Arayar Swamis will take oil bath to keep their body cool because they have to keep on serving Bhagavan all the time. So they should safeguard their body. They cannot leave it just like that. To safeguard their body, the Arayar Swami was taking an oil bath. And you know who was serving that Swami, Arayar Swami, for an oil bath? It was Ramanujacharya himself. Although a sannyasi, he was serving his acharya. Okay, serving in the sense he was applying oil on the body, on the divine body of his acharya, Arayar Swami. He was applying oil. In the picture, you can see Ramanujacharya applying oil on Arayar Swami. And after applying oil, usually they also apply turmeric paste. In order to keep the body cool, they also apply turmeric paste. To apply turmeric paste, it has to be finely ground, nice powder, churnam. Right? It has to be nicely powdered and then made a nice paste, smooth paste, so that it will be very smooth on the skin. Ramanujacharya Swami had this responsibility of making the paste of turmeric. He started making turmeric paste. He ground the turmeric and then he made a paste of it. He applied a little on Arayar Swami's body. Ramanujacharya Swami knew very well how to serve an acharya. It is not that you are given a responsibility to apply oil and turmeric on Swami's body, and you take this oil, you just keep on applying, rubbing, applying. You don't see how his face changes. You don't know how he feels. Without any feedback, you keep on doing your service. That is not the way of doing a service. Right? How you have to serve? You have to see the acharya in his face, and every time look at his face and see if he's happy with your service or not. If he is happy, then continue with the service. Otherwise, change a little and make him happy. That is how one has to serve the acharya. Ramanujacharya Swami was applying turmeric paste. Slowly he looked up at Arayar Swami. Arayar Swami did not tell anything by words. Just his face changed. He said, that is all. His face changed. For a second, that is for a moment, his face changed. That is all. Nothing else happened. Ramanujacharya Swami immediately took back the turmeric, took fresh turmeric, ground a nice paste, more smooth this time, made a finer paste and applied slowly on Arayar Swami and now looked at his face again. Arayar Swami was taken back by his service, by Ramanujacharya Swami's way of serving him. I'll just tell one word in Tamil how Arayar Swami told and then translate it for you. He says, Nam Dhanatayallam kollai kolla vandiro. Have you come here to loot me all of all my wealth? He says. Because if a Shishya is serving well, then the Acharya has to give something in return. That is nothing but the knowledge that he has. Right? Knowledge is the greatest wealth of Acharyas. Nothing else. They need not have material wealth. Knowledge is the highest wealth that one can have, right? Arayar Swami says to Ramanujacharya Swami, he says, have you come here to loot me of all my wealth? To leave nothing with me? Is that how you serve me? So nicely you serve. And guess what? For in return for this beautiful Kainkaryam, Ramanujacharya Swami was given the greatest of all wisdoms. It is Acharya Nishtha, Charamopaya Nishtha or Charamaparva Nishtha. Arayar Swami taught about Acharya Nishtha to Ramanujacharya Swami. Whatever you learned yesterday from Sri B.V. Ramapriyan Swami, that was taught by Arayar Swami to Ramanujacharya Swami on that occasion. Oh, beautiful, right? So what do we learn from this story? Chaturaha, Chaturyam. One has to have the ability, one has to have the capacity to know how to serve the Acharya in the right way. That is very important for a Shishya. And Dhiraha. Dhiraha means one with mental firmness in Kainkaryam. If he starts a Kainkaryam, he has to finish it, come what may. That is all. Even if the Acharya scolds him, it is okay. Even if the Acharya insults him, it is okay. It is all not an insult at all. It is all a prasadam. Whatever an Acharya does, it is all a prasadam. To learn this, it is very easy for us to say, Acharya Swami, today he was very angry. That is why I did not talk to him. It is very easy for us to tell, right? Acharya Swami was very angry, so I did not talk to him. Acharya Swami today scolded me, so I don't want to go to his ashramam anymore for the next 1 or 2 days. I will not go there. Why should I? He is scolding me. If this is told, then he is not at all a Shishya. Whether the Acharya scolds him, whether the Acharya beats him, irrespective of whether what the Acharya does to a Shishya, the Shishya has to have the firm mind to serve the Acharya. There is a beautiful example. Dasanambi. For simplicity's sake, I am keeping the name as Dasanambi. Dasanambi and Dasarathi Swami, Mudaliyanda, Dasarathi Swami. There is a beautiful anecdote that is recorded in the commentaries in the Divya Prabandham. You know Kulashekara Perumal? You all know Kulashekara Alvar? One of the 10 Alvars. Kulashekara Alvar has written this beautiful Perumal Tirumali Divya Prabandham. And in that, there is a pashuram. Tarutuyaram Tadayel, Un Sharanallal Sharanillai. Piregolo Malar Polishul, Butuvakot, Amane, Arishinatal, Innatai, Agatidinum, Matavaltan, Arulinainde, Alunkulavi, Aduvepon, Nirundene. This is the pashuram. The meaning of this pashuram is, Kulashekar Alvar says, oh Bhagavan, that he is praising a Bhagavan in Kerala. The place name is Tiruvittuvakodu. The Bhagavan is there. He is praising Bhagavan. He says, oh Bhagavan, I do surrender to you. You know how I surrender to you? I am like a small baby. Just not even a baby, I'm just an infant. What does an infant do? Irrespective of whether the mother chides the child or she scolds the child, she is angry, irrespective of what she does. The child, all that a child knows is it will hold on to that mother again. Even if that mother is scolding the child, there is no other way to go. There is no other place to go. It will hold on to that mother only. Right? The same way, I hold on to you, Bhagavan. That is what Alvar says. In that commentary, in that place, there is a beautiful anecdote that is written. Dasarathi Swami had many disciples. He had a huge following of disciples. One of them was Dasanambi. This Dasanambi, one day, something wrong happened in the Kainkaryam. Dasanambi was serving Dasarathi Swami. Something small mistake happened in the Kainkaryam. Dasarathi Swami was very angry. He said, how can you do this so wrongly? And he actually hit him. That is what the commentary says. He hit him and said, you did not come to the Tirumali, go. You did not come to our Tirumali, you please go off. Dasanambi did not know where to go. He just went out of the Tirumaliga. Tirumaliga here means it is the ashram of Dasarathi Swami. Okay? He just went out of the ashram and he was there, sitting there. He did not eat the whole day. He did not sleep. He did nothing. He was just sitting there, crying and crying and crying. The next morning, Dasarathi Swami wakes up. That night he never came out. Dasarathi Swami never came out to see what happened. The next morning he wakes up, does all his anushtanas, and sits for his meal, for his lunch, prasadam. During prasadam, he asks his sishyas, what happened to that Dasanambi? Where did he go? What did he do? All the sishyas are very concerned. They are very worried. They say, Swami, he is here, just outside the ashram. He is sitting there. Just outside the mutt, he is sitting. He has not eaten since yesterday. He has not drank water. He has not slept. Nothing he has done. He is just sitting there waiting for you. Then Dasarathi Swami, out of compassion, after his meal, he went out. See, acharyas are they are verily the manifestations of compassion, right? They are the embodiments of compassion. So immediately Dasarathi Swami ran out. He saw what happened to Dasanambi and he asked, why are you sitting here? Why did you eat? Why didn't you sleep? Why didn't you go home? To which Dasanambi says, see, you hit me, you kick me, do whatever you want. Just like how Alvar held Bhagavan's feet. Even I don't have anywhere else to go. I will hold on to your feet. And in this place, he gives a very beautiful example. Dasanambi gives a very beautiful example. You feed a dog for one day. You feed a dog for one day. It will stay at your doorstep for the lifetime. If a dog can be so loyal, can I give up on that loyalty to my Acharya? You have fed me with knowledge. You have fed me with prasadam, not just one. You have fed me with two things. And you are giving me verily with Vaikuntham. And in this context, if you are giving so much to me, how can I give up on my loyalty? I cannot go anywhere else. Do whatever you want. I am your Shishya. I am here to serve you. You please order me what I should do and I will serve you. Dasarathi Swami was very much moved. He immediately hugged Dasanambi and he took him in. That is the story. So how a Shishya has to be? He has to be Dhiraha. Come what may. Let anyone tell anything about. Let anyone tell anything. Let Acharya and Swami do anything. Our aim of serving Acharya should not deviate. It should be firmly fixed. So Astikaha, Dharmashilascha, Shilavan, Vaishnavaha, Shuchi, Gambiraha, Chaturaha, Dhiraha, Shishya ityabhidhiyate. These are the qualities that a Shishya should have. This is the first pramana that Varavara Muni Swami took. Now there is a second pramana. It says, see, these are the previous shloka, that is Astika Dharma Shilascha, that shloka told us how a Shishya has to be. In the second shloka, he says what the Shishya has to give back to Acharya. Okay, that is a beautiful shloka. It says, Shariram Vasu Vijnanam Vasaha Karma Gunan Asun Gurvartham Dharayed Yastu Sashishyaha Netarasputaha. One has to hold all of these things for exclusively for the sake of an Acharya. Let us see what they are. One has to hold his body for the sake of an Acharya. If anyone asks you, why are you living? What is the purpose of your life? We are living just to serve the Acharya. This body is there only to serve him. Nothing else. It is not to earn any material benefit. It is not to gain any fame. It is not to learn some social science, maths, whatever it is. It is not for all of these. This body is given only to serve the Acharya. Shariram Gurvartham Dharayet. How do you say this? Have there been examples? Many examples are there, out of which I'll take just two examples and tell that very quickly. One thing, Maraneri Nambi. This Maraneri Nambi was a disciple of Yamunacharya Swami. He was a disciple of the Yamunacharya Swami. He used his body to serve his Acharya. How? Yamunacharya Swami, at one point in time, he got a very bad disease in the back. Okay? He got a very bad disease in the back. That was very annoying for him, very painful for him, extremely painful. Maraneri Nambi said, he went to Yamunacharya Swami and pleaded him, Swami, just like you wear clothes, you are wearing this disease also. We wear clothes, we wear jewelry, we wear everything, we wear all of these, right? They are not natural to us. It is sitting there, we are just wearing it. Out of our own liking, we are wearing it. The same way he says, Acharya Swami, you are wearing this disease. Just like we are wearing clothes, he is wearing the disease. Maraneri Nambi says, you please don't have that because you have many things to do. You have to teach many disciples. You have to lead them on the right path. You have many kaingaryams. I don't have much. I can serve you. Give the disease to me. I will hold it on my back. Maraneri Nambi says, give the disease to me. I will hold your disease on my back. He is using his body to serve his Acharya, to relieve his Acharya of his pain. And it actually happened. Yamunacharya said, okay, so be it. First, he hesitated to give his pain to others. But later, when the disciple was bent upon taking up that service, Yamunacharya Swami said, okay, so be it. Take it. And it actually happened. Yamunacharya's pain went off over a period of 2-3 days. This pain subsided and Maraneri Nambi's back started. The pain started on Maraneri Nambi's back. He held it for about a month or two. So see how beautifully our acharyas have shown us the path, how to serve. If we are given that opportunity, will we take acharya's pain? We'll say, Swami, if you have anything nice, give us. Pain and all, it is okay, Swami, we don't want, right? No. Shariram Gurvartham Dharaya. This body is for acharya himself. In that pain, if the body is also given up, what is there? We are only serving acharya. Happily take it. Oh, nice. Pin Balaram Perumal Jiyer. Don't worry about the name. For now, I will just keep the name Jiyer for easy, for the sake of convenience. This Jiyer Swami was the disciple of Kalivairi Das Maharaj. Nambullai Kalivairi Das. He was the disciple. And he was much elder to Kalivairi Das. In age, in this material age, he was much elder to Kalivairi Das. But he was a disciple. He was on his deathbed. Jiyer Swami was in his deathbed, and he calls all the co-students who were learning with him under Kalivairi Das, and he says, all of you Swamis, please go to Periya Perumal, Sri Ranganatha Swami, and pray that this Jiyer Swami lives for some more time. These disciples were very jealous of him. These disciples were very jealous of him because Kalivairi Das Maharaj was very fond of this Jiyer Swami. So immediately they went, instead of going to Ranganatha Swami temple, Mandir, they straight away went to Kalivairi Das Maharaj Mat and said, look what your Shishya is asking. After having learned from you all of these years, look what he is asking. He is asking to live more. Which Sri Vaishnava wants to live more? There is no Sri Vaishnava who will ask for more life. No Sri Vaishnava who will ask for anything in any material benefit in this world. If the prana is leaving, leave the body. That is how Sri Vaishnava is. But this Jiyer Swami is asking for more life. Kalivairi Das Swami was very much, he was very much aware of it. He said, this is not due to the reasons that you are thinking. Come, I will tell you what is the reason. All of them went back to Jiyer Swami and they asked, what is the reason why you are wanting to live in this body for more period? So Jiyer Swami says, see Swami, it is not because of Ranganatha Swami, I don't want to leave Sri Rangam. No, that is not the reason. It is not because of Kalivairi Das Maharaj Kalakshepam, his way of expounding the Shastras or the scriptures in our Sampradayam that I don't want to leave Sri Rangam. It is only because every day you, Acharya Swami, he is telling his Acharya, Kalivairi Das Maharaj, the Jiyer Swami is telling, you will go to Kaveri river to take a bath. While taking a bath, your divine form is truly so beautiful that I want to keep on looking at that body. Acharya's Tirumeni, Acharya's divine body, I want to keep on looking at it. And when you come back on the shore, having taken a dip in Kaveri river, having bathed in Kaveri river, when you come back on the shore to keep your Urdhva Pundra and all the other Anushtanas, at that time, you will be sweating. You know what my service is? I keep on fanning you from behind. I keep on fanning you. When you are sweating, I want to fan you. If I leave to Paramapadam, who will fan you here? I don't want that Paramapadam. I want to be here. Let any difficulty come here. I want to keep on serving you. Varavara Muni takes this exact example and he says, this is how a Shishya has to be. தன்னாரியனுக்கு தான் அடிமை செய்வது அவன் இன்னாடு தன்னில் இருக்கும் நாள் அந்நேர் அறிந்தும் அதில் ஆசையின்னி ஆசாரனே பிரிந்திருப்பாரார் மனமே பேசி. A Shishya's disciples' true lakshanam, the true characteristic is to serve the divine form, divine body of Acharya. Yesterday you would have seen an Acharya has to take care of the Atmagati of Shishya. The Shishya has to take care of the Deha Yatra of Acharya, right? When this Shishya has to do the has to take care of the divine body of the Acharya, if the Shishya knows all of this and still doesn't want to serve the Acharya, then of what purpose is his life? Right? How long can I serve an Acharya? Only as long as the Acharya is in this world, not after leaving to Paramapadam. In Paramapadam, Acharya is there, Bhagavan is there. There are many other Bhagavatas. The service is common. When we can exclusively serve Acharya, it is only in this world, nowhere else. Right? After the Acharya has left to Paramapadam, there is no way I can serve physically for an Acharya. Of course, there are other ways of serving, but not to the physical body of Acharya. Correct? So, even after knowing this, one's duty, you know what one's duty should be? He should always strive to serve one's Acharya as long as he's there in this world. Always keep on serving the Acharya as long as he's there in this world. So, in order to serve like that, one should not go away from the Acharya. He should always be with the Acharya. That is what it says. So, this G.R. Swami says, for this sake only I am asking for more life, not for anything else. I want to keep on serving you. So, this Shariram, this body is dedicated for the service of Acharya. Vasu, wealth. Our wealth is dedicated to Acharya. I earn 1 lakh per month, 2 lakh per month, whatever, some crore per month, whatever it is. When I earn, what is it for? I take this 1 lakh earning, I divide it. This is for my family. This is for this purpose. This is for that purpose. This is for this purpose. This is for this investment. This is for this EMI. All of this we divide. And finally, what is for Acharyan? 100 rupees. Our Shastra says that is not the way. Whatever is our earning, our entire wealth is Acharya's. Whatever bhiksha he gives us, that is ours. Have there been people who have lived even like this? Yes. You all know Dhanurdas ji Maharaj, Dhanurdas, Pillai Urangavili Dasar. That Dhanurdas had 2 nephews, Vandar and Shundar. 2 nephews of Dhanurdas. These 2 nephews were also extremely devoted to Ramanujacharya. They completed their studies, and one fine day they came to Ramanujacharya and said, Swami, from today we are going to serve you. The king is actually calling in his court for a work, but we don't want to go there. We are serving you. For which Swami said, no, don't do that. When the king is calling, go, serve, go and join for the job. Whatever is the earning, get it and give it to me. Give all the earnings to me. Vandar and Shundar, these 2 people, they never cared. They never questioned Swami anything further. They said, okay, so be it. They went to the court. They worked in their capacities. They got this first salary. They straight away brought it and gave it to Ramanujacharya Swami. And the Acharya Parampara says, Guru Parampara says, Ramanujacharya would always divide that salary from Vandar and Shundar. He would combine that salary, divide it, saying, 1 part of it is for Sri Vaishnava Tadiyaradhanam, for Prasadam service at our mat. 1 part is for the service of our Bhagavan at the mat. 1 part is for you take care of your family. Those 2 people were happily taking whatever bhiksha the Acharya gave and were leading their life happily. Our wealth is for the sake of Acharya, not for us. Vasu. Vijnanam. What is the purpose of our knowledge? Knowing many things, right? The purpose of knowledge is knowing many things. What do you know? Knowing other things is of no use. Know about the Acharya. Know about his greatness. Know about the Acharya Parampara. Know about their greatness. The purpose of knowledge is to know about these things. It is not for anything else. Other things are only side business kind of. The main purpose of knowledge is to know about Acharya, Vijnanam, Vasaha, one's residence. If the Acharya comes home and says, see, I have come to this town. I don't know where else to stay. This is a nice place to stay for a couple of days, for 1 or 2 weeks. No, for a week, for a month. No, maybe for a year. I want to live in this place. Please give me room. Immediately what one can say, yes, Swami, please come. One has to welcome the Acharya and give the what he has to ideally say. See, Swami, this is not my home at all. I am just being a caretaker. This is actually your home. You should not ask. You should give me permission to stay along with you. That is what we should be saying, right? So Vasaha, the residence itself, is Acharya's residence. How in the Sri Vachana Bhushanam, Swami Pilla Lokacharya says, Vastavyam Acharya Sannidhiyum Bhagavat Sannidhiyum. The residence, the place of residence for a person should always be the first priority, Acharya's place. Second priority, Divyadesham. Can everyone say, suppose there is one Mat or Tirumalige, there are some 10,000 Shishyas to that Mat or Ashram. So can all the 10,000 people stay in that ashram? That is not the meaning. Wherever they are, that has to be considered as the residence of the Acharya. They are just being caretakers. There is a hotel where we go to the receptionist to ask for a room. That hotel or chatram, that the Chowdhury manager, when he allots the room, it is not his property that he's giving. The property belongs to someone else, the actual owner. He is just sitting there as a gumasta. He's just sitting there as a clerk, writing down things and managing things. That is all, right? The same way, our residence is Acharya's residence, whereas we are only taking care of it. Karma, all our actions are dedicated for the sake of an Acharya, nothing else. Whatever we do, right from waking up to sleeping, and even during sleep, whatever we do, it is all for the sake of Acharya. Gunaha, all the qualities, whatever qualities we have is for the sake of Acharya. My Swami would say, give this example of Govindacharya, Embar. Once when Govindacharya was praised, Ramanujacharya is sitting, Govindacharya is there, all other Shishyas are there. Some people came, randomly started praising Govindacharya, saying, oh, you're so great, and all. Govindacharya said, yes, that is right, I am great. Immediately Ramanujacharya said, is it right on your part to say, tell that? Accept that I am great. No one is supposed to tell that. Just now we saw we have to give up on ego. You are telling I am great. Govindacharya Swami very beautifully and very cool, calmly he responded. Swami, which state of my existence did they praise? Is it when I was in Sri Shailam as a Shaiva, or as Govindacharya in your feet, at your feet? They are praising this Govindacharya at your feet. So whatever I am is because of your prabhavam, because of your lotus feet. Now, if I say no, these are all wrong, then it means that your lotus feet has no prabhavam. That is not possible, right? Though all of these qualities I bear, I accept all of these qualities only for your sake. Whatever qualities people say I have is because of you, for he says to Ramanujacharya. That was his devotion. Asu, Gunan, Asu means life force, prana. Asu means prana. The prana, the life itself has to be held for the sake of an Acharya. When Ramanujacharya left to Sri Vaikuntham, there were many people who just left along with Ramanujacharya. They did not wait for anyone to come and tell them the news that Ramanujacharya left to Paramapadam. No one came and said. Ramanujacharya left. Just when he left, these people also left. They were so attached to him. One beautiful example is Ilayavilli Achan. Ilayavilli Achan is one beautiful example. He just woke up. That night he was sleeping. Early in the morning, he saw Swami Ramanujacharya leaving to Paramapadam. In his dream, he saw. Immediately he woke up. He woke up. He woke up everyone else around him. Told my Acharya Ramanujacharya Swami is leaving to Paramapadam. I cannot leave anymore, and he just collapsed. Gave up his life. His life was dedicated for the sake of Acharya. All of these Chariram, Vasu, Vijnanam, Vasaha, Karma, Gunan, Asune, Guruvartham Dharayet. For whose sake should all these be held? It is for the sake of the Acharya. Guruvartham Dharayet. This is the Shishya Lakshana. The third Lakshana is a long shloka, but very easy for me to say because most of the points are repeated. Okay. Most points are repeated because it's taken from a different source. However, it reinforces what we are learning. It is a beautiful shloka of Vedantacharya. It says, Sadbuddhi sadhu sevi samuchita charitaha tattvabodhabilashi Shushrushuhu tyaktamanaha pranipatanaparaha प्रश्नकाल प्रतीक्षः शांतो दान्तो अनसूयुः शरणम् उपगतः शास्त्र विश्वासशाली शिष्यः प्राप्तः कृतवत् अभिमतः तत्त्वतः शिक्षणीयः शिष्य such a shishya शिष्यः प्राप्तः तत्त्वतः शिक्षणीयः. He has to be truly taught in the right way. Who is that shishya? He says sadbuddhi. He has to have a good intellect. Good intellect in the sense he should know what is right, what is wrong. Whatever the acharya says is right. Whatever the results in the service of Acharya is right. He has to have the intellect to take the right path. Sadbuddhihi. Sadhu Sevi. He has to serve the knowledgeable people. You know who is a sadhu? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. In that place, Ramanujacharya in his Gita Bhashan gives a very, very beautiful definition of a sadhu. It is a big definition of a sadhu. But the first thing he says, there are many adjectives given. The first thing that Ramanujacharya says about sadhu is Ukta Lakshana Dharmashila. Whatever is told in the Shastras, if a person follows them, whatever Bhagavan orders, if a person follows them, then he is a sadhu. So, in short, knowledgeable people who have the knowledge to follow Bhagavan, to follow what the Vedas say, if a person is willing to serve such knowledgeable people, then he's a sadhu sevi, he's the shishya. Samuchita charitaha, noble characters. We saw this in the first shloka itself. He has to be the Shilavan. Shilavan we saw, right? The same thing is told here. Samuchita charitaha, his character has to be noble. Tattva bodhabilashi, he has to have a liking to learn about the three tattvas. Tattva trayam, Chit, Achit and Ishvara. He has to have the liking to learn about this. You should say, Acharya Swami does not have any other works. He always keeps on telling this. I don't want to go to that class. No, that is not the way. One has to always have the liking to learn all of these things. Shushrushuhu. Shushrushu means Shrotumicha Shushrusha. The desire to learn from an Acharya, to hear from an Acharya is Shushrusha. In order to learn from an Acharya, what he has to do? Serve the Acharya in all ways possible. Okay. Tyaktamanaha. One has to have given up the ego. How one has to give up the ego? One beautiful example of Dasarathi Swami. Ramanujacharya was sitting in his mutt one fine day. There was a request that came to Swami. What did that request say? He said, Periyanambis, that is Mahapurna. In that place, they asked for a dowry. What is a dowry? Some servant has to come along with her to do all the work. A servant has to be sent from the parents' home. That is what was a request. Ramanujacharya saw around whom to send as a servant. He did not find anyone. Dasarathi Swami was working there. He said, Dasarathi, come here. Dasarathi Swami, you go with this lady, serve in their house. Dasarathi Swami was Chatushastra Vidwan. He was a great scholar par excellence. He was so qualified. He was a Vadula Kulatilaka. He was one of the 74 Simhasanadipatis of Ramanujacharya. He was so qualified. He did not speak a word. He did not utter a word. The moment Swami said, go and serve as a servant to those people, he happily left. The moment he left. 6 months he served in their house. 6 full months he served as a servant in their house. After 6 months, there were some Sri Vaishnavas going by and they said, look, Dasarathi Swami serving in their house. Then how great they are. And that is when they got the realization that this person is none other than that Dasharathi, great Dasharathi Swami Maharaj. They immediately fell at his feet and said, Swami, you should kindly forgive us. We did not know your Prabhavam. We kept you as a servant. Dasharathi Swami said, all of this is not at all required. My Acharya told, I came here. That is all. Go and tell my Acharya that my service is enough. I will go back. Till then, I will serve you. They went back to Ramanujacharya Swami and told, Swami, we have done a great apacharam. Let us stop this service. Let us stop this service. So Tyaktamanaha, he did not have that ego saying, I have learned all of this, I am such a great thing, I am such a great person and all. All of that were given up. The moment Acharya told something, he followed it. Pranipatana Paraha, he should always, the Shishya should always have an inclination to keep on prostrating to the Acharya at all times. I will finish in less than 5 minutes. He should always keep on prostrating to the Acharya. There is a beautiful story that my Swami would say. Adya Rangacharya Swami. You have all gone to Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan, there is this Rangaji Mandir. That Rangaji Mandir was built by Adya Rangacharya Swami. He was a great Acharya. He had many disciples in the north. One disciple was a Sethji. And he was one fine day, he was going on a sarat in the main streets. And there in the front of the temple, he saw his Acharya, Adya Rangacharya Swami. Immediately, he jumped down from his sarat. He says, my Acharya says, this was narrated by a person who actually saw that very long ago. So immediately that Sethji came down from his sarat and he fell. He did a Saštang Dandavat Pranam to Adya Rangacharya Swami. Immediately Adya Rangacharya Swami says, Sethji, it has just rained just now. It has rained just now. All of this is so much of marsh, all of this mud and all. It is so dirty. If you fall down like this, Dandavat Pranam, your clothes will get dirty, right? It's okay. Don't prostrate. It is okay. To which the Sethji readily replied, Swami, I prostrate to you, only these clothes get dirty. If I don't prostrate to you, my Atma gets dirty. Which do you prefer? My Atma should be clean. My clothes dirty is okay. I can go and wash it. It will go off. If I don't prostrate, my Atma is getting dirty. I don't want that to happen. Adya Rangacharya Swami was in tears. That is what he says. He was in tears looking at that the Shishya's Nishthai. So that is Pranipatana Paraha. One has to have all the inclination to keep on prostrating to the Acharya everywhere possible. Prashnakala Pratikshaha. One has to wait for the right opportunity to question. Not questioning in the middle of the night, not questioning in the middle of something, nothing of this sort. Wait for the right opportunity. Keep on looking at the Acharya, wait for the right opportunity, then shoot questions. Prashnagala Pratikshaha. Maitreya Rishi is there. In the Vishnu Purana, the very first shloka says, Parasharam Munivaram Krita Paurvanihi Kriyam. Maitreyaha Paripapracha Krita Pranipatya Abhivadyacha. Parasharam Munivaram. Maitreya went and prostrated to Parashara Maharshi and asked some question, which then grew as Vishnu Purana. When did he ask? Krita Paurvaniki Kriyam. When Parashara Maharshi had finished all of his anushtanas and leisurely sitting, only then he went and prostrated, asked his doubts. Wait for the right time. Shantaha, Dantaha. Shanti and Danti are interchangeable. Okay, the control of external senses and the control of mind. All of these control of all the senses is Shantaha, Danta, Shanti and Danti, Shantaha, Dantaha. Anasuyuhu, one should not have jealousy towards co-students or the Acharya. How he is learning. He is learning more than me. How is that possible? That should not be there. Going to an Acharya, what does he know? What can he teach? This jealousy should not be there. Not having jealousy towards Acharya or Sabrahmacharis. Anasuyuhu. Sharanam Upagataha. Sharanam, his residence. You know where a Shishya should reside? At the feet of the Acharya. He is called Antevasi. Antevasi means Shishyantevasi, the Chatrantevasin, O Shishye. That is what the Amarakosha says. Chatra, Antevasi, Shishya, all of these are synonyms. Antevasi means the one who stays at the feet of the Acharya at all times. Always with the Acharya. Here I have given a picture of Parashara Bhattar, and at his feet is Vedanti Maharaj. Vedanti Maharaj or Nanjiyar was always at the feet of Parashara Bhattar. He never moved away. He always resided at the lotus feet of his Acharya. That is where we have to reside. Shastra Vishwasa Shali, one has to have the firm trust on the Shastras. All of these are the points we already saw. Kritavid Abhimataha, this is a beautiful point. Kritavit, Kritam Veti Kritavit. One who knows what the Acharya has done is a Kritavit. Whenever, okay, such people, if they actually do the Abhimatam, they do the Abhimanam on a person, then such a person is Kritavid Abhimataha. This is a little difficult to understand. No, I will give you an example. It is very easy. You all know Devaraja Guru. Have you heard of Devaraja Guru who composed Dinacharya of Varavara Muni? Varavara Muni Dinacharya. Devaraja Guru Mande Divyajnana Pradam Shubham. That is what it says. That Devaraja Guru or Irumbiappa, he was one of the 8 disciples of Varavara Muni Swami. And there he says, you know how Varavara Muni Swami accepted me? At first, I did not have trust on Swami. But later I learned from a mistake. I went back to Varavara Muni Swami. At that time, Varavara Muni Swami accepted me through his Shishyas. Tatastat Sannidhistamba Moolabhutala Bhushanam, Pramukam Sugamasinam Prasada Madhuraspitam, Dhrityaihi, Priyahitaikagraihi, Premapurvam Upasitam, Tatprarthananusarena Samskaran Samvidhayame. Varavara Muni Swami, he respected the request of his Shishyas that I be accepted. The Shishyas requested on behalf of Devaraja Guru, they requested Varavara Muni Swami that he be accepted. Then Swami accepted. Kritavid Abhimataha. If a Shishya comes in all of these forms, then he Shikshaniyaha. Beyond this, Sadhyantara Nivritti, that is giving upon all other goals and having Acharya Nishtai or Bhagavan as the final goal. Palasadhana Shushrusha, service unto Acharya as the final goal. And Arti, Adara, and Anasuya. That is, one has to have the intense desire, love, and non-jealousy towards Acharya and Subbrahmacharis. So these are the Shishya Lakshanas. There is just one word that I have to tell. Shishya Lakshana, the final word, how a Shishya has to be. In Vartamala, a book called Vartamala, that is a collection of conversations between Acharyas and Shishyas in the lineage of our Guru Parampara. There is a beautiful thing recorded, how a Shishya should be. He says Shishya should be like a wife, a body, and the self of Acharya. When he said the Shishya should be like the wife of Acharya, don't take it in the wrong sense. It is not the material relation at all. Wife does whatever the husband tells. At least we trust that, right? Whatever the husband tells, the wife follows that. So Shishya has to be like the wife. This body, I did not tell, oh hand, wake, stand up, try something, you move the mouse, etc. I did not tell my hand every time. The moment I think, the body starts working. Right? So the body does what I think. So the Shishya has to be like the body, doing what the Acharya thinks. And the mind, I did not tell the mind, think about this, think about that. No. The moment the Atma, the moment I start thinking, the mind is already there. Right? So the Shishya should be like that, the self. He has to be really the thought. Now, who is the best example for all of this? In our Sampradaya, Acharya means Ramanujacharya, no other Acharya. Right? Acharya, all other Acharyas are there, but the Acharyatva Purti is with Ramanujacharya. And with whom does the Shishyatva Purti resides? It is with Kuresh ji. Kuresh Maharaj, Kurat Talwan. He is, if we have to call someone a Shishya, he is the Shishya, 100% complying to all of the said qualities. How? As a wife, Ramanujacharya, while writing the Sri Bhashyam, he said he was angry with Kureshar for some reason, for a difference of opinion. He said, please move out of the mutt. You need not be here. Happily in the sense, he did not talk anything else. With that mindset, he just went out of the mutt. He was there. The next day, Ramanujacharya said, the same thing like what happened with Mudaliyandan, that is Dasarathi Swami and Dasanambi we saw earlier, right? The same thing here also with Kuratalvan. Ramanujacharya comes and says, Kuratalvan, what have you done? I was wrong and you are taking this punishment. He said, nothing. Whatever you say, I am going to listen. As a wife, he listened to Ramanujacharya. As a body, Kuratalvan, Ramanujacharya, when they went to Kashmir to get all the Vritti Granthas, Bodhayana Vritti Grantha to write the Sri Bhashya, Ramanujacharya wanted to take all of them in mind. He just thought how nice it will be to memorize all of these. Kureshar actually memorized it. Ramanujacharya Swami's thought became Kureshar's action. And Kureshar was on Ramanujacharya's thought forever. You all know this famous story of Ramanujacharya walking to Tirukottayur for 18 times to get the Rahasya Mantra. While walking like that, while getting the Charama Shloka, for all the 18 times, he did not get the Charama Shloka Artha, Charama Shloka meaning. Only in the 19th time he got the meaning. And even then, Tirukottayur Nambi gets a promise saying, you should not reveal this to anyone absolutely. He takes a promise. That is when Ramanujacharya says, I promise you that I will not reveal this to anyone. I will not have any tricks, hidden tricks, but I am asking you explicitly. It is humanly not possible for me to not reveal this to Kureshar. I may not reveal this to anyone else, but to Kureshar it is not possible, just not possible. So give me the permission to tell him alone. I will not tell anyone else, I promise you. There was Dasharathi Swami. There were 12,000 Sri Vaishnavas. There were 700 sannyasis as Shishya to Ramanujacharya. And guess who came on the mind of Ramanujacharya first to reveal the Charama Shloka? It is Kureshar. He was verily on the thought of Ramanujacharya. To that extent, Shishya Lakshana was complete with Kureshar. With this, I stop, I rest. I hope I have not bored you all. I have not given too much of it. I have just first of all, my intellect itself is alpamati. Whatever I could understand from whatever my acharyas told, I have tried to compile a little bit and give it to you. I hope this will be of great use in your life. And I also pray to Sriman Narayana and all our acharyas, alvas and acharyas, that all of us have this strength and conviction to follow all of these and be the true shishyas, the true sense. With that, thanking Sri Acharya Swamiji and the organizers again, thanking you for this opportunity to participate in this session. I rest. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Jai Sriman Narayana.
Adiyan Ramanujasan Swamiji. We have time, a few minutes to answer the questions of the students, Swami.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Jai Shriman Narayan, Shashtang Pranam Swamiji.
Jai Shriman Narayan.
Can you tell the karma meaning which was in Shishya Lakshana 2?
Karma means actions. Whatever we do, when we wake up, we chant something. We chant the Guru Parambara. Then we take bath. We brush our teeth. We take bath. We eat. Or we do all of this, right? As students, you go to school. You study something. All of this is for the sake of Acharya. Nothing is for your own sake. That is the meaning of karma. Karma means action.
Thank you.
I want to ask the meaning, I want to ask the three mantras.
Three mantras. Ashtakshari, Dvaya, and Charama Shloka. These three mantras, I can only give you the name. I do not have the right to tell what those mantras are. You will get that when you go and get the Pancha Samskaram done from the Acharya.
Okay.
Sashtang Pranam, Jai Shriman Narayan Swami. Adiyan was asking the Sadbuddhi that you told in Shishya Lakshana 3.
Sadbuddhi is to have the right intellect, good intellect. Intellect is what? To know the right from the wrong.
Yes.
This is the right path, this is the wrong path. To differentiate, to have the discretion between of right from the wrong is what Sadbuddhi means. So the Shishya should have that intellect to choose the right things. There is no point in telling, I am a Shishya, but I always choose the wrong things. There is no point. As a Shishya, I'm learning something. So with that learning, I always try to take the right path. That is what it means, Sadbuddhi.
But what if it gets wrong?
Occasionally, if something goes wrong, Acharya is there to correct us. Even beyond what Acharya does. See, that is why I told you what is right is we do not decide on whether something is right or wrong for our life. We ask our Acharya if this is right or wrong. The Acharya says, do this, we do it. What we consider is right is what we have to consider as right is to take refuge under an Acharya and consider Acharya's words as final. That should be the buddhi for us.
Adiyan, thank you so much.
Any more questions? Swamiji, it was great opportunity to for all of us to hear from you. Thank you so much, Swamiji. Shishya Lakshanam was the one of the best treats we got from Devari. So thank you so much, Swamiji. Swamiji Sarkar.
अडियन, हाँ भैया जी।
जी आज्ञा है तो शिविर संपन्न किया जाए।
हाँ जी भैया जी, शिविर को संपन्न करना चाहिए। स्वामी जी महाराज, आपके मुख से शिष्य लक्षण विस्तार पूर्वक सुन के भगवत भागवत आचार्य कृपा का अनुभव हो रहा है। हम सभी का सौभाग्य है जो इस विषय को इतने विस्तार से श्रवण करने का, इस विषय पर चर्चा करने का सौभाग्य मिला। जय श्री नारायण स्वामी।
श्री राम कोट निवासी वही स्वामी जी
वासी हो श्रीनाथ वेंकटनाथ सुंदर सकल गुण की राशि हो सौलभ्य सीमा भूमि अरुवात्सल्य गुण मंजूष हो शतबार मंगल हो तव बात की मोहे भूख हो चिरंजीवी ने सर्वदा सौख्य भाजे प्रभु
महात्मने श्रीरंगम श्रीमते रमजा
श्रीमते रम्यजा मातृमुनीन्द्राय महात्मने श्रीरंगवासिने भूयान्नित्य श्रीनित्यमङ्गलं मङ्गलं यतिराजाय श्रीभाष्यामृतदायिने सौलभ्य परिपूर्णाय महापूर्णाय मङ्गलं जयति यतिराज फणिराज अवतारमणे प्रबलपाषण्डतं हरडभानो विजयी भव विजयी भव विजयी भव। श्रीमन्नारायण भगवान की जय हो। श्री गोदा श्री रंगनाथ भगवान की जय हो। भाष्यकार श्री रामानु स्वामी जी महाराज की जय हो। श्री सुगम सिंधु सरकार का मंगल हो। श्री प्रकट स्वरूप सरकार का मंगल हो। श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान का मंगल हो। भाष्यकार श्री रामानु स्वामी जी महाराज का मंगल हो। श्री वरवर मुनि स्वामी जी महाराज का मंगल हो। श्री तोताद्री स्वामी जी महाराज का मंगल हो। श्री प्रतिवादी भयंकर स्वामी जी महाराज का मंगल हो। श्री स्वामी जी सरकार का मंगल हो।
साष्टांग प्रणाम। जय श्रीमन्नारायण।